Week of 2022 has been devastating for a family in South Omaha after a house fire took the life of 7-year-old Jaya Moore. Her grandfather and great aunt remain in critical condition tonight. 6 News' Brent Weber sits down with some of Jaya's family to learn all the reasons why they want all of us to remember Jaya.
These softened ashes show crayons and flashcards. She played with Pawpaw. This piggy bank should be filled with coins. This frame should hold a photo from her 8th birthday party, Friday, January 6th. But this fire,
we have an all clear on second floor.
2 days after Christmas, 7-year-old second grader Jaya Moore was visiting her grandfather Michael Pratt and his sister Rochelle, as she often did, when something happened in the early morning hours, and her pawpaw did what he did best.
They're like the best of friends, first off. They're as close as two people can be. And he was shielding her. He tried to get as far away from the fire as he could, and he just held her until I guess he couldn't anymore, and that's when the paramedics came in and took her.
Her injuries were too much, even for the feistiest of kids, and Jaya died a day later at St. Elizabeth Burn Unit in Lincoln. Her pawpaw and great-aunt remain in critical condition there.
He took her in a lot and put her under his wing, and he's just always been there for her. So that was like a comfort spot. Jaya being over at that house was very, very common for everyone. So, you know, it's really unfortunate, but we know Michael tried. As they stay close, her family shares so many things to remember about Jaya.
That she loved her family. And she had a big heart.
Maybe just like riding our bikes around the block, playing basketball with her.
Thoughtful.
Always ready to have fun.
Very feisty and very talkative.
The youngest of 6, Jaya was only 6 months old when her mom passed away in 2015. So this family, bonded in loss by love, is prepared to do it once again.
The kids, they need a lot of love. They need a lot of support. Because there's still people fighting. Michael and his sister are still fighting. We want to keep hope alive.
Everyone's been reaching out, teachers, neighbors. I mean, it's overwhelming, but in a good way. That everyone is just here and, you know, surrounding these kids with love.
What happens next to Pawpaw's home seems inconsequential to the family. The memories that were crafted here are most important.
Yeah. She's with her mom now, and
that brings us some peace. The most that we could be able to take this in is knowing that she's the one that got the least amount of time with her mom. So hoping her mom welcomed her back, and they're, you know, doing their thing up there, and that's peaceful to know.
On your side in Omaha, Brent Weber, 6 News.
Just devastating. What a beautiful little girl. No arrangements to lay Jaya to rest have been finalized yet as the family's vigil for Michael and Rochelle continues. If you'd like to help Jaya's family, we have links to the family's GoFundMe page and meal train pages on our website, WOWT.com.